Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this channel and this episode. Today I'm going to introduce you the brilliant book here, this one, let the camera focus. Mit dem Wasser kommt der Tod. So the straight translation would be with the water comes the death. And this book is written from the Professor Dr. Manuel Vermeer. And I had the pleasure, the opportunity to have classes with him, 2 semesters of Chinese language classes, and he also recommended us or showed us the intro song which I'm using now for this intro. Alright, so let's directly dive into the topic of this book. As you could have imagined, it is all about water, and water in Southeast Asia, South Asia in particular, so in India and Myanmar, but also China. So let me, I think, first of all, show you the region where the most of the story is taking place. So guys, here you can see the map of China, of the People's Republic of China. And if we go all the way to the west, here you can see the province of Xizang or Tibet. Tibet used to be way larger in the past, so a lot of Qinghai and also Myanmar used to be Tibetan ones. And now the protagonists of our book, they are first of all in Lhasa. So where's Lhasa? Here, the capital of Tibet, of Xizang. And they also go to Ningzhi. And Ningzhi is straight at this river here. And this river is super important. It is the Yarlung Zangbo. So this river, if we look down or we follow it here, you can see crosses into India here. And it is the Brahmaputra from here on. So, yes, the idea is that China now, because China has in this book and also in real life a lot of trouble to bring water to northern China, because in the north there are not so many rivers and it's dry. So here we also have the Gobi Desert, and yeah, Beijing is quite far north. So the problem is to bring water from the south to the north. And this is by the idea of building dams at the Yarlung Zangpo, so at the Brahmaputra, and try to divert it here into northern China. And very interesting here on this Chinese map is, first of all, that actually, this part here is in an Indian map would be Arunachal Pradesh. So, but here it's southern Tibet and a Chinese map. And China is very important because also for whole Southeast Asia, because if you look at this river here you can see the Mekong, also bordering Thailand and Laos. This is coming also from China here, from the Luzangjiang, which has its spring somewhere in Qinghai province, I think. And this is also a place where I would like to go to. But okay, this is enough from the map, I think. I think you can now understand the importance of Tibet and the Himalayas region for the waterways in Southeast Asia and especially India. Because also if we look to the west here, this is the river Ganges, who has all the side ups here flying into, starting into the main river. The book is actually a detective story, but I'm not going to tell you in detail the story, just a few details and why I think it's so great to read, because it's funny and quite often Vermeer hits the nail just on the top. And especially if you're interested into Asia, China in particular, and Chinese history and some Chinese facts, then this book is for you. As the story goes on, very often Vermeer brings up chess and the history of chess and its names, So I haven't known that the first chess was developed in India and then came through Persia by, I think, the Arabs were transporting it into Europe. And in Germany we say, when we play chess and one is winning, we say Schachmatt. So, and the word Schach, so chess, in German comes from the Persian, or I think Farsi name then, or it could also be Arabic, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly, means Shah. And Mat is then Arabic for, and Shah meaning king, and Mat meaning dead. So you're killing the king, and this is why you say Schachmatt. And also the Chinese chess, Xiangqi, is actually probably most likely coming from India, and that's because in Chinese chess you have these xiangs, so these elephants, these war elephants, and in China you actually have never had these war elephants, but in India they did have them. So this is one reason why you think, why some people think it's coming from India, the first chess. And another fact, chess fact here, is that the Chinese chess doesn't have a queen. And then there was this one point in the story where the woman Cora was asking, don't women have any role, an important role in the Chinese society? And then the people around them were laughing and saying, no, actually they do have an important role as well. And then here and there are coming more citations to chess, and this is interesting. And as well as when you are maybe going to the East Asia Institute in Ludwigshafen, and you might have classes from Vermeer, he will probably tell you about the origins of tea and why we say tea in Germany, and in many other Asian countries people actually used to say cha or chai or tsai in Turkey, or also I think in Egypt people were saying shai, and I just researched in Russia it's chai, and in India it's chai. And this is because only in one small region in China people were saying te, and this was in the province of Fujian, where were the Min Chinese people, and they had a different dialect and they were saying te. And Vermeer writes that the British then used this to say tea, but I think actually this word, maybe the Dutch people, because they first brought tea to Europe, they used and found the term of tea. And for this I found in another book just about tea this very interesting map I want to show with you. And my theory is that here, basically everywhere in using the Silk Road, so the traveling by land, these countries are saying cha or chai, and everything which was coming by ship, they say tea or tea, yes. And another thing I remember from our classes is that we were often talking about the sources of the words we're using. For instance, especially then Chinese words, and how they were derivated and how they differentiate to German words. And also in his book he writes the difference between the German word wissen, so to know, the verb to know, and the Chinese word for this is 知道, so to know the way. While in German you can only say you know this and this and this, so it is very precise, and if you know it in one side, at one place, you will also know it at the other place. But in China the circumstances, so your surroundings, influence what you know, so the way can change, so you can know different ways. So this is a very interesting thing. And even though the story is mainly playing in China and Tibet, but also to a little degree in India. And in India, here Vermeer mentions the interesting fact about the Parsen. I think in the English term might be Pars, but Parsen people, Parsen religion, I will write it down. I think I will write it here. And so these people, when they die, they don't bury their people or they don't burn their people. They just leave them in houses of silence, towers of silence, for the birds to pick them up. And very interesting is that in Tibet, some people, what is it called? The Parugyadas? I wrote it down here. I have to retake again, a difficult word. The Ragyapas, they also, when some people die in Tibet, because it's so high, they cannot burn them because the earth is too hard, it's frozen, and they can also not burn them because there's not enough wood for the fire. So they just slice them into small pieces, also for the birds to take them away. Let me introduce to you another topic of this book and issue which you have, especially then related to economics in China. This is corruption. And this also has a relation to what I'm doing now, an internship, and I just had to write an article about compliance when doing business in China. So what can you do? You can write like employee manuals, you can write things in the contract, do checkups, check routines, etc. But where will corruption happen the most? Of course, corruption happens where people buy and sell, when a company is looking for a new project, and if you're doing your procurement, where can you look? And if you know someone and he offers you something, you could say, why should I do this? Only if I personally have some gains from this. And he's debating about this for some times, and he says that, which I think is not correct if you just say it like this, that for corruption you get the death penalty, because you won't get it. It depends, I think, on the size and the scale your corruption has and what impact it makes on China. Mandat des Himmels, the Tianming, so that if a Chinese emperor in the past, he could only have this heavenly rule as long as he can Wei Renmen Fu Wu can do services for the nation, can hold up China and develop it. But if there's some major event, like any kind of disaster, so let's say a big flood or some hunger problems, then he lost his mandate of the heaven. And this is also a fact still, I think, important in China. So if something is really not working inside the country, the people in charge, so Xi Jinping or other presidents or other ministers, they really have hard pressure, and this is also what this book is about. And I think this is it for this short video. And this is the first of 3 books which are out now. So 3 of these detective stories, and I can recommend to read it. And especially if you're a student from maybe you can read it after finishing in the university, or while doing it, then you can already say, I read this already, or I know. Okay, so this is it for this short video. I hope you liked it, and goodbye.